Yo, 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 diggity dog. Diggity dog. Yo, what up, diggity dog? Wild day.
We're in their corner and on it because their local agent is a small business owner too. Wherever today takes you,
Yeah,
tomorrow demands of you.
yeah. Let's watch that, honestly.
I literally said
Literally.
that not everyone in DGG hates black content creators, but there are certainly a lot of people that stay behind from all the communities that Destiny engages with. But of course, he clip chimped it because that's how it works. It's like, it's always the same shit, dude. It's the same strategy. This is why a lot of people don't want to engage with you, Destiny, because you are dishonest. You don't care about looking at things in a charitable capacity. Like, and then your community immediately clips shit out of context and will literally post it on LSF in the worst way possible. It makes you look bad too. It makes you look bad to all the other content creators. Okay? And I mean, people are aware of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy to me that like this is Destiny alt in both that community and in also edge communities that 100% do not like that there are black content creators that are popping off.
Why does this degenerate loser say this shit? Like, why not go to more sex clubs where like little girls are being trafficked? Isn't that what you like?
Oh, that's what he. Oh, that's where he said that. That's crazy. Hey, man. I don't know. I wouldn't talk shit like this if I left my wife and child behind to go fuck a fan's girlfriend and then marry her. You know what I mean? Take care of your children. Stop behaving like this on the internet. Grow the dishonest fuck. Jesus Christ, dude. Like, literally, a brothel that I fucking went to in 2010 got raided for tax evasion in 2016. And this motherfucker is making it seem like there's like little children being trafficked there. How fucking gross. You do not give a shit about sex trafficking if this is the kind of fucking attitude you have. You play fast and loose with this shit. Jesus, Lord mercy. Oh.
Like to do in Europe? Somebody linked the fucking article. Why the fuck would you?
By the way, when somebody
Izanami.
oftentimes Destiny will avoid it. That's the other thing. Like, we have a shared moderator. He can literally come in and be like,
Literally.
don't fucking post this. Don't
Literally,
say this. That's out of context.
literally,
Destiny knows that and will
literally,
still fucking do it.
literal,
Okay?
little. I
He
don't know
knows
how
it.
he does
He
it
doesn't
anymore.
care. He's just
How does
trying
Patrick
to get
do that?
as many people as possible on board in yet another fucking smear campaign. Because he has no substance. It's so fucking sad. How is it not defamation? It always is defamation. I know what the talking
I'm
points
dying.
are.
What the fuck?
Oh my god, how many fucking videos do you have to make about like the
How many
same thing over and
beans?
over
Why
again?
do you sound like a
Make
5-year-old
this
though?
claim about my fucking
It is a
community?
weird
Bro, like
thing.
Yeah. I wonder if there's ever been an instance on this planet where Destiny has like honestly taken a step back and been like, you know what, I should have worded that better. Instead of immediately deflecting away from the main problem and immediately countering with a completely unrelated take. Sometimes it's valid. In this circumstance, it certainly isn't. And just move on, have his community beef up the fucking counterpoint in order to deflect away from the original criticism. He could have just literally been like, I didn't word that correctly. I'm sorry. Okay? That's all he needed to do. In this situation, all Destiny, a fucking old-ass dude with a child, All he needed to do was say, you know what, I worded it incorrectly. I make content with a lot of black content creators, Abba and Preach, Gideon, to name a few. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not racist. I fucked up. He could have just said that, and it would have been done. That's it. Like, if he had just said that, it would have been done. He didn't have to fucking triple down, quadruple down, but he has a fucking God complex, and he can't stop himself. And also, his audience is pretty vicious when you actually apologize. Let's be real. I have apologized for things a million times over, and those motherfuckers never let me live it down. So I don't know. Maybe they'll do that to him, too. But it's so fucking stupid. Maybe do not say I have black friends, though. No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying he should say either. But, like, he could have just fucking done that. That's all he could have said. That's all he could have said. Like, oh, I worded it incorrectly. But, oh, no, he's infallible. He can't make any fucking mistakes. It's just so fucking gross. Like, he did it. He literally did it. I'm not even talking about, like, oh, everyone in DG hates black people or anything like that. I literally said there are edge communities that become a part of his overall community every single time he fucking collaborates with Nazis, like eats chicken and waffles with them and shit, like Nick Fuentes, like he did. Or when he fucking bans people in his own community from literally saying that Nick Fuentes is a Nazi, which he did do. Okay, when he does stuff like that, yes, a lot of people think, oh, this is a safe harbor for Nazis, I guess. And then those are people who legitimately don't like black people. And some of them are in his communities, okay? That's who I'm referencing. And anyone and everyone who's in DGG, anyone in Destiny's community, regardless of how much you fucking talk shit here, knows that I'm right. Greetings. They know that I'm right. They, or if they're honest about it, will criticize it. Silence. Okay? I didn't even say DGG itself is like this. I literally said the exact opposite. But of course, it doesn't matter. Instead of addressing that, instead of addressing what I actually said and go, hold on, yeah, maybe Hassan is a little right here because I am a charitable person. Hold on. Hassan is right. Good luck. I'm going to be charitable here and say, yeah, there are some people in this community that I want to change their attitudes on. I want to change them. I want to de-radicalize those Nazis. And some of them think inappropriately that this is a safe ground for them. Okay? You could have said something along those lines. And like, in the interest of not galvanizing their fucking horrifyingly white supremacist ideas, I'm going to fucking make it clear. Like, I am not a racist person, something like that. But he didn't say that. Instead, he turned around and said, I sex traffic children or something. He's a fucking psycho. There is no instance where he just goes, I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to make sure that people understand with clarity, okay, what I mean. He just has to, he has to perceive himself as like this infallible figure who's never in the wrong. And he doesn't give a shit. He likes blowing stuff up, and he likes continuing the drama cycle. Okay? And by the way, for those who don't know, this is precisely why I don't talk about Destiny. Anytime I do, it becomes like a thing. It becomes this like explosive thing, and it's one-sided, okay? It's completely one-sided. But his community members will never let it go. And it validates him. A lot of communities are new and don't know I know. It's been fucking rewritten a million times over. But hey, you know, we'll give them the time. Do not like that there are black content creators that are popping off.
They're like, how many fucking people do you think are in black community that don't want to see black people succeed? It's such a...
No, I very agree. There are there are edge communities. That's what I said. I'm not saying his entire community is like that. Stop. What the fuck?
Stupid fucking thing. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
He's so fucking fragile.
He did what? What do you mean? Go. Where was the? What was the fucking sex club that he bragged about going into? I'm pretty sure I have pictures of it in fucking Europe. The traffic.
That again, not real. Okay. And even if it was, which by the way, I'm not defending this fucking brothel that is still in operation. How the fuck is that my fault? I went there in 2010. It's not like I was like, ooh, what brothel has been raided? Let me go there. Like, it's so fucking stupid. It's such a weird thing to do. I'm just so emotional. so charitable to a community full of losers who do not give a fuck about actual issues. All they do is jerk off and tail and debates. I'm trying to be as charitable as possible because I know that there are some people who are at the fucking end aren't just as ride or die. No matter how fucking deep in the cut you are, there's ultimately still going to be people who are like, yeah, this doesn't seem right. Obviously, they're never going to see my clips. And most of them aren't going to search for the full context of what I've said. But
you think this can stop me?
you would have gone there in 2010 and said the N-word there for no reason.
A keen edge.
People are upset with your comments on speed.
An enemy has been slain!
This is as equally up as the clip Destiny's criticizing.
Stereotypical, like, edgy, borderline, like, racist shit. Bro, I know how I look, bro. I was trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like...
Nothing I said was even borderline racist. What the did I say that was racist? Seems like there's a lot of black Zoomer streamers and a lot of their content is just screaming and shouting. Is there anything racist about that? Like, did I say, like, I think the only thing black streamers can do is scream and shout. I think the only thing black people are worth is scream and shout. Like, no, what the it's just an observation. Jesus Christ. There's not even anything like, you have to, like, torture that statement.
You're labeled as a racist, okay? Out of context things, and it's lame.
Wait, what was his clip on me? What did he say? Out of context. Also, to be clear, and I'm the only one that will ever be this charitable, because all of you guys on that are children like losers. I don't think he's racist. I think he's making out as a racist
All they do is scream and they're not like trying to roll like no, I actually do. No, if you think about it, there are clips of me ripping my tank top and screaming. But the only way you would know that is if like you're part of the mob.
Yeah.
Sana's taking home the Emmy for new. Yeah, doesn't this make sense? I think the streamers are usually the most popular streamers, and then they just choose like the most popular streamers in each category. It'll be like streamer of the year. It'll be like, who's that? It'll be like XQC. Wow, he has the most viewers. And it'll be like Kai Sim.
Enemy missing left.
I don't know how you guys get so mad over this. You have COVID? No, I wish I had COVID. I took a PCR test and I was negative. I don't know what the I have.
You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. You know, it's crazy.
True power.
I'm gonna keep it a buck.
I shall shroud
hate speech, long collapse, skip song from actual murderer, or people who did actual murder crimes and shit. Oh, please wrong chat. So odd.
Kind of true.
Bro. Listening to get making memes about music. Okay,
Watch the shadows.
Fear me. Nobody cares. Sorry. It's all the same. I agree. That is a degree in music, okay? A degree in music. Nothing that's been more. I know nothing about music. I think music.
They are part of the collective now.
Here's the truth. You don't know shit about music, but you get a music degree.
You there's nowhere but rise, my holy army.
Oh, blacks are overrepresented in violent crime. But when you meet an individual black person, you don't apply that and you start with a do you do that with food?
How dare they die on us?
The Alex Jones wants to make fun of the Holocaust? Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen. Let's see.
People know I'm a Nazi. I'm like, dude, that's not good. But at the same time, Fuentes, and I'm going to get him back on there and challenge him. He's just giggling too much, like it's fun watching this over here. He's not stupid. And you know, he knows the history here. And so I'm going to have a debate with Fuentes. Not a mean debate, but I'm going to get my history, he can get his history, and we're going to have a debate about this.
Bro, come back. Why you got an Argentina, bro? Konnichiwa.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Is this the, I don't even know who these streamers are on this one. Is this the Kai Senate guy? This is the speed guy. Okay. there's like this whole new legion
Best
of like
recruit there,
black
I
Zoomer
thought,
streamers,
myself.
and for as much as they talked about how all white people did was scream at the I feel like that's all these guys do. I don't know. I don't know if they have more content, but holy shit.
Your middle tower is under attack.
It's just not my shit. But I'm probably just getting old. Like it's like the new shit is like black dude tears his shirt off, screams something wacky and wild into the camera, is racist or homophobic. It's LOL, and like that's.
He said all black there's a new wave of Zoomers, and all they do is scream and rip their shirts.
Oh, that's not wrong.
They're not like more like no, I actually do. No, if you think about it, there are clips of me ripping my tank top and screaming.
Enemy missing left.
But the only way you would know that is if like in front of the mafia.
Yeah.
You think he's an Undercover fan?
Yo, you know somebody that actually make good music, man? Lizzo.
Lizzo? I can't get past the fact that she looks like.
They are destroying our
You show her body off, nigga. Like, come on, man. Come on, yo. A woman that's built like a stack of mashed potatoes is in trouble.
We shall drive them from this land as silence is
I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know.
Under attack.
American singer.
to me, my allies. I shall shroud us.
The fire giant has arrived.
As silence has been. They're full of organs are dead. Like a fool! To me, my ally, I shall shroud them. I shall give you true power!
Oh, I remember this from the Adam Neely video.
Enemies in the left jungle. On my way.
So you, oh, I guess you did it off that song.
Time to destroy these people!
She's the woman that played the old-timey flute in the Conservatives early now. Oh, I take back everything I say.
Destroy the left enemy. Your right tower is under attack.
Got over that. She stays in my butt. I remember finding videos of that. I wondered if it was just some fucking talentless pop loser who would just like.
Your middle tower is under attack.
It seems like she knows what she's doing. These classic
True power!
Enemy missing middle. Cancel that.
Why are people mad? Because it's like James Madison's
Enemy
flute
missing
and
left.
nobody had played it before or some shit and people got mad that she did or something. I don't know.
Designer. And the only
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower has been destroyed. Your right tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack. The enemy has fully powered their obelisk.
Attack middle lane.
Why did Lizzo work with James Madison's flute?
So there was some video that came out from the Library of Congress of her playing the flute. She was trained at University of Houston to play the flute. So she knows how to play the flute. Doesn't mean she's like one of the world's great flautists in the same way that I'm not one of the world's great violinists, right?
An
She's
enemy
trained
has
from a
been
young age to play.
slain.
You can be pretty good, and that doesn't make you one of the world's best. She's a celebrity. Understood.
Okay, I would have to hear more
Be
of her
careful,
playing the flute to like accurately judge.
Retreat.
But she sounds very clean. All of her voicings were clean as. There wasn't any of that weird like. The technique was very clean and very even, which is very hard to do. Memory has common with foreign players. But she seems like was a very good player. Even by college standards, she seems like she's probably a pretty good player.
They're full of
Now,
organs,
Betty Boy
aren't
here.
they?
I don't know if I've heard him play that impressively on his little cello, violin, whatever the. I heard him play some Game of Thrones stuff, but I don't know if I would. Did he play cello or violin? It was violin, right?
An enemy has been slain.
Let's listen. Hold on. Let's see where is that?
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out if he deserves to mention himself alongside her in terms of talent. I don't know. 1 second.
Enemy missing left.
Enemy missing left.
Till we meet again, till we meet again, little mouse, little mouse.
Enemy ultimate down. Enemy ultimate down. An ally has been slain.
Wait, oh my god, is this... Is that what's happening in base?
What from this?
Isn't there an old bot prelude that's like...
Death can stop me. Our mission was a total failure.
What am I thinking? Prelude 1 and C major. Prelude 1 and C major. Is this what the Ave Maria is based on?
The enemy team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
Or was this just like this particular piece?
Time to destroy these people.
I don't know. Okay. I don't care as much anymore. God, I hate all singers. Everybody that sings is just fucking a horrible person. Okay.
Enemy missing left.
Gotta run.
Your left tower is under attack.
Enemy missing left. I must be gone.
Is that... I don't know what the correct phrasing of the song is supposed to be. Not bad, right? That's not horrible.
Gotta run. This will be fun.
Enemy missing
Be
left.
right back.
Okay.
I have a harder time judging the... I have a harder time judging the talent of string players because I grew up in wind ensembles and I didn't hear any string players.
They are part of the collective now.
Because I played saxophone. I don't have real life string players compared to,
Your right
I know
tower is
like
under
approximately like how they do.
What have you done to the
But
telescope?
I'm more familiar with like the
They're full of organs, aren't they?
That's too
Retreat.
We need I need more impressive clips of Ben playing.
Don't play tag, bitch, I've been there.
Jeez. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, but
So there was some video.
I'm sorry. Okay, I've only gotten 7 seconds into it. It sounds like he's kind of like shitter. She's not the best player. Like she's okay. Well, no, it sounds like she's actually a pretty good player. Like sounds to me, but just based on a little bit I've heard. Maybe maybe she's only practiced certain things. But she sounds like she's like an upper level college player, like a good college player, or maybe better, maybe professional. Really good college players can be better than those guys. But I'm sorry, it sounds like he's like shitting on the beginning. But maybe that's just in my brain. I'm not sure.
That came out from the Library of Congress of her playing the flute. She was trained at University of Houston to play the flute, so she knows how to play the flute. Doesn't mean she's like one of the world's great violinists in the same way that I'm not one of the world's great violinists. Right? Being trained from a young age to play, you can be pretty good, and that doesn't make you one of the world's. But she's a celebrity. Understood. Okay, so here's.
Actually, I don't like that. She's a celebrity. No, she's not just a celebrity. She's a pretty good flute player. Like, she's a pretty good flute player. This is a flautist. Okay.
The video that is uncontroversial of her playing at the Library of Congress.
Your middle tower is under attack.
You will help me destroy the earth!
This is better than what she usually does. I like a long stretch.
Run from me! An enemy has been slain! Freaks of this! I'm a feed their brains to my robot!
That's fun.
Jeez.
This is very nice. I'm enjoying this.
To me, my
Pretty
allies,
flautist.
I shall
Like,
shroud us.
Okay,
Your
so that's
team has
non-controversial.
destroyed a right enemy
Okay,
tower.
then there's the clip that everybody's making a big deal out of. As the New York Times suggests, right? The big thing that happened with Lizzo is that she brought this flute to a concert, James Madison's flute to a concert.
Here, so that you all don't spam this next. Apparently, it's not got copyright struck. Here you go. Here you go. Boom. Yes, it's on. Boom. Here you go. I don't care. There you go.
He proceeded to twerk with it. So this is the thing that the entire world saw, was Lizzo wearing essentially a skimpy outfit, twerking with James Madison's flute. Not the first one, which is a very respectful treatment of a historic instrument, but instead, Lizzo bringing forth a historic instrument to twerk with it, which of course is the point. And this is, here's the
They're
clip
full
of
of
Lizzo.
organs, aren't they?
Your team has destroyed a middle enemy
Okay,
tower.
and then she said something about how she twerked and played James Madison's crystal flute from the 1800s. We just made history tonight. Head on over to puretalk.com, enter code Ben, get 50% off your very first.
Clearly, he's saying a non-professional Lizzo shouldn't be playing some piece of memorabilia the same way he, a non-professional Ben Franklin's violin. It's a waste
An
of a
enemy
good
has
piece of
been
memorabilia.
slain!
Why not let someone respecting the craft do it if that's
Isn't
she a professional?
Destroying our allies!
So,
They're full of organs, aren't they?
I don't understand the word.
They are part of the collective now.
I don't understand.
Played an enemy. We need to meet resistance.
I'm not understanding.
I'm a feed their brains to my robot! They are part of the collective now. Ooh, looky! They did the work for us. Pain feels like.
Number 2. And I may be wrong, and I might be just be drawing from like fucking random movies and shit I remember hearing in English class. I know nowadays that like when you see like a person play the violin, you're like, oh my god, this guy must be from a respected family and it's so cool and like fucking elegant and it's, I don't know, it's fancy that they play instruments. Back then, weren't like musicians fucking losers? Like if you were a musician in the 1700s, 1800s, even the big composers, I think, for a lot of their lives were treated as I don't think it was like back then in like in 1800s England, you're like, oh, I'm a violin player, and like, oh my god, you command so much respect. Like I'm pretty sure playwrights and actors and all these people were considered to be so it's not like music used to be this ultra respected craft, and now we just have this
month and start saving money today.
Kind of loving Destiny defend Lizzo. I'm not defending Lizzo. I'm just saying she's obviously a good flautist.
So
and she's a professional musician. It seems like if anybody's gonna play a stupid flute.
Ben, get 50% off your very first month and start saving money today. So the history wasn't made when she actually went to
Destiny's tune changed only when he found out she pissed off conservatives. No, but I understand why you think
Your left tower is
Oomsa.
under attack.
Okay, because you can probably only hold about 30-ish words worth of thoughts in your head before they get flushed out by the next inane idea
Be careful, right?
that happens to spring forth from the sewers of your fucking subconscious. Let me look at a little bit simple. I didn't know I get that in few enough fights for you. Do you understand that?
Library of Congress and played very nicely. These ladies played one note and James Madison's flute. Okay, so this is what I'm going to call the face tattoo syndrome. Okay, because what has happened in the media is the face tattoo syndrome or the face tattoo phenomena. Here's how it works. Somebody does something incredibly controversial and stupid.
How dare they tie
If you
on
notice
ours?
You're bad.
Time to destroy
You
these
walk
people!
into the Starbucks and there's a guy behind the counter and that guy has the Mike Tyson face tattoo that just covers half his face. And you're staring at it because how can you not stare at a person with a giant face tattoo? And he's like, what are you looking at, bub? Are you offended by my face tattoo? You're like, well, I mean, you did get a face tattoo to draw attention to yourself, so
Has anybody in the history of fucking face tattoos ever said this in here? Has this happened a single time in
An enemy
all of
has been
mankind and all
slain!
of the equivalents to mankind and all of the non-equivalents of mankind. Has anybody ever walked in and said, why are you looking at my face tattoo? Has that ever happened before? Is this like a fantasy scenario that he's thought about in his head? I bet this is what SJW is.
An enemy has been
asking my opinion of
slain!
the face tattoo. I think it was a bad idea and it looks terrible. Face tattoo phenomenon.
Why does he think people with tattoos don't want you to notice their fake tattoos?
Attack fire giant!
I don't understand what he's talking about here. It's like a version talking about the vagina comes out the front. I don't know. It's such a weird, bizarre. Does he have a single person in his entire life that has ever gotten permanent ink on their body anywhere? I don't even. I can't move my perspective far enough to get to whatever dimension he's functioning in order to say something this inanely stupid. It has to be all fantastic. It's gotta be baiting with the comments.
That's what's happening here with Lizzo. The first book, Tony and Controversial 1, actually made the ranking. That's the whole point that they are making. And commentators were saying this. It is the contrast between Lizzo, a significantly overweight African-American musician. Right? The idea is that it's groundbreaking for an African-American musician to play James Madison, one of the founders of the Constitution, to play his flute.
The enemy has fully powered their
trust any of you black people anymore. I'm sorry, tells Africa.
destroy the right enemy tower.
Let's check our parents. Much better parents here.
Watch your feet!
Who's born in Detroit?
We cannot stay safe! Therefore, organs are
It isn't
An ally has been slain!
Who is black, then Lizzo, I'm sure there are many black flags who are significantly better than Lizzo, right? They're playing orchestras around the world.
They are part of the collective.
Are there? If it is the case that she toured, somebody mentioned toured.
Double kill!
Always live on.
God, I hate this. Horrible. I were to bring
Your
up the
team has
test,
destroyed
the
a middle
best 10
enemy Phoenix.
flautists in the world, I feel like all of them would be white, just because like the classical music world and everything. tends to
How
draw
dare they
white,
tie on us?
Your left tower
best
is under attack.
flautists in the world. I could be wrong though.
An enemy has left the game.
Or Asian, true. Yeah. Well, would they be Asian? I feel like Asian people always tended towards strings.
Your
This
left
is my
tower
very
has been
personal,
destroyed.
limited anecdotal experience. But. Unsung heroes. Oh, it sounds like they're looking for.
And so if the idea was just going to be, we are going to take
If he really cares about this that much, why couldn't he find like 2? Recommend us 2. Who should have played it instead?
then Lizzo, I'm sure that there are many black flautists who are significantly better than Lizzo, right? They play in orchestras around the world. I'm sure they are wonderful. And so if the idea was just going to be, we are going to play a historic instrument that belonged to a white Southerner who was in charge of founding the Constitution, and we are going to have a very talented African-American black person play that, that would have been really uncontroversial. Like seriously, it would be the equivalent of if let's say that George Washington had a harpsichord, and we had Condoleezza Rice go and play the harpsichord. Like everyone, like, okay, all right, fine.
Enemies in the left, Jungle.
It is the twerking that does it. Understand it's the twerk. It is about the twerking. The story is solely and completely about the twerking, which is why you didn't see the first video. The first video has a few views. One of her playing very nicely in the Library of Congress while dressed somewhat decently. It is the second video where she is twerking and wearing skimpy outfits with the flip dance. It is what people that is why the clip is viral. The reason the clip is viral is the content. Extraordinarily classic instrument. It speaks to sort of gentility.
The flute, a classy instrument, Ben.
Of America's founder being brought into a context that is the only
Destroy the left enemy.
It's the vulgarization of American history.
Swiftly now!
And only one of those clips went viral. And so if you notice that, then you're very, very bad. If you notice that, then this means that you're some sort of racist, or it means that you don't want black people playing the flute or something. No, I just don't want people twerking with historic instruments. By the way, I'd be similarly offended as a violinist if there was a Stradivarius. Somebody had a Strad, and that Strad was lent out to a musician who then proceeded to twerk on the Strad. I would also be insulted, because it turns out that great art should not be degraded. Great art, American history, they should not be degraded by juxtaposition with vulgarity. That should not be a controversial position, but we've now reached the point in American life where nearly everything is a controversial Literally everything. Every day on this show, there's some clip that is taken that is utterly uncontroversial and then made into a thing on Twitter. Because we now live in a world where we do not have a shared reality. This was a point that was made by an account.
I wonder who's contributing to that lack of shared reality.
On Twitter called Local Distance. And he was saying that we don't have a shared reality because half the people saw this clip and they were offended by it, and half the people were like, woohoo, it's amazing. And that shared reality has gone away on literally everything. And you have to understand that without that shared reality, we can't have political conversations, we can't have shared values. It's very difficult to see how you have a futurist country if you don't have some sort of shared value.
The telescope?
The part that's kind of astonishing to me on a personal level is I don't understand why Lizzo would do it. And Lizzo is enough of a musician to understand the nature of the story. Musical pieces of art. And so the degradation of that, like, why doesn't she personally have the respect for the history and a respect for the history enough not to work with it?
I must be the
And by the way, Lizzo had the same exact reaction. Somebody took the moment and then went and twerked with it at some sort of rock. They'd have exactly the same reaction because degradation of the past, degradation of great art is part and parcel of something that people.
Dude, I'm pretty sure like half legendary painters that should die of like opium overdoses, like poor losers who were all their like 12-year-old cousins. Like, is this really like the elite culture that you want to protect? Are these really like the best that humanity has to offer, Ben? Because I'm like 99% sure that if you would have been some fucking loser with a huge white wig, okay, 200 years ago, talking on some street corner, you would have been calling all of these guys like thugs and degenerates and disgusting creep and everything as well. Like, come on, let's be real.
Deconstructionist left loves. They love the idea that great art doesn't exist, that all art is equivalent, that Robert Mapplethorpe's Piss Christ is actually a form of art. Right? Everything is art in the eye of the beholder. And that's what's really going on here. And if you notice it, then they're like, how dare you notice this? Well, if you hadn't made a big deal out of it, I wouldn't have noticed it. If you didn't think it was historic, if you didn't think it was important, you wouldn't have done it. It also demonstrates, by the way, just how much the sort of institutions of American government have been taken over by
Destiny. They were not doing it openly. That's the difference. Yeah, because they didn't have little portable infinite recording and broadcasting devices with every single human being back then. I know that some of you guys are only 12 years old, okay? But believe it or not, everybody had access to the internet in 1876, all right?
Members of the woke left. When you have members of the Library of Congress who are reaching out to Lizzo to have her twerk with a flute, that says something. Like, the Library of Congress is supposed to be a place where you preserve historic instruments and respect them, not a place where you give it to people who are then going to twerk with those instruments on stage to the cheers of a gaggle of morons. Alrighty, guys, the rest of my show is continuing now.
Wow, disrespectful is funny and cool according to Destiny. No. What would be funny and cool is if you had respect for half the people living in this country, okay? When you treat half the people as your mortal enemy, and you're part of the shit that primes half the country to hate the other half, and the only thing you seem to obsess over are crystal instruments stuck away in some library that literally not even you gave a about until you saw some fat black woman twerk with it. Maybe you're more the problem than anybody else, okay? If you want to talk about respect, then you have to be a respectful person. And you have to be a respectful person. You need to carry that energy with you in all different assets of your, and the different facets of your life. You can't just do this like selectively and then spend the other half writing books like how to shut down the throat of liberal college kids. Get the out of here, you loser. What is Uncle Adams up to? There's no shot that he even knew that flute existed. And they could release right now, Lizzo should release it now. By the way, that flute, that crystal flute, that's not even a real flute. It's not even a real thing. We made the whole thing up just to trigger Benny Boy. Okay, I'm about to call for an unsubscribe on this guy's channel. He's not giving us new content. I'm getting pissed off. XQC said he was disappointing you for your loud black streamer take. I don't care. I don't know whose friends are trying to be friends with who and who's trying to get on whose good side and who's trying to go to whose houses. That's cool. I don't need XQC's sign off on every fucking opinion that I have. I'm good. All right. There's like a whole legion of like black Zoomer streamers, and for as much as they fucking talk about how like all white people did was scream at the fucking camera, I feel like that's all these guys do. I have
What?
no. I don't know if they have more content.
I don't really say that wrong. Like, I think generalizing it doesn't happen, buddy. It's just, what is it? We're back to fucking just stacking everybody in one pot. Oh, guys. Yeah, man. All the new guys, all the black streamer guys were all doing the same thing and that, and they were all doing that shit. What is that shit?
I didn't say all the black streamer guys. There's like this whole new legion of like black Zoomer streamers. But I feel like every time I turn on the Kai stream, it's like people tearing their shirts off and screaming at each other. I've tuned in a couple times. I'm curious why it's so popular. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just tune in maybe I just tune into the wrong times. But the Speed and the Kai guys are the two guys that it feels like every time I turn the shit on, they're just like screaming and shouting. But hey, do it right now. Okay, maybe they're not right now. Let's check. Does the iShow Speed guy stream on Twitch? XQC is friends with all those dudes? Oh, well, and I super don't care about his opinion. I'm not even saying their content is bad, by the way. They're just not for me. Which is fine. A lot of content is not for me. I don't even watch streams. Why would you even care? Oh, I know why you care. It's because when I say I don't like something, the only thing that your brain hears is, oh, he doesn't like it, therefore it's bad. Everybody's free to enjoy whatever the f you want on the internet. That's good. Enjoy your shit. There should be a lot of shit that you like that I don't like, okay? Like pepperoni pizza. That's fine. People are upset with your comments on Speed. Who is this guy? This is as equally fucked up as the clip Destiny's criticizing. Speed saying Konnichiwa repeatedly to a Chinese man at the World Cup. Destiny's saying is pretty common anti-black caricature. Who the f is this f***ing loser? I might be grumpy right now. I kind of want to drop all of the, especially after all of our recent arcs. I don't think I care about virtue signaling to white people about racial issues anymore. I'm gonna blame Avon on this one. I get sick of like the progressive deep throating on like black issues. I'm good. I'm good on that. I'm done.
No worries.
If you're gonna compare me saying there's like a kind of like a trend, at least on Twitch, of like the black like screaming content or whatever for the Kaiser and the Ice Spaghetti, which by the way there might not be. Maybe those are just the only clips I also have. But if you're gonna say that's the same as me going up to some Asian person and be like, oh konnichiwa, 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 you're actually retarded. Like, go deep throat some BBC somewhere, swallow, go guzzle some black dude's cum because that makes you feel really good about yourself as a progressive. Like, go knock yourself out. But leave me out of your bootlicking, virtue signaling, cuck-ass bullshit. Go find some Black Panther to give it to you up the ass or some shit. I don't need to be involved in that. Please keep me out of your weird, obsessive, white, progressive, virtue signal cuck shit, okay? I like to talk about real racial issues here. Not if we are stereotyping black screamo streamers on Twitch, okay? Jesus Christ. Get the f out of here, bitch. Imagine coming back from canvassing in Georgia to people be like, well, actually, the real racism is when you stereotype. You meant it's a common anti-black trope, actually. Like, bro, holy shit. Trying to like trip over your virtue signal, dude. Get the f out of here. One of the most, I think probably the most cucked shit ever are progressives tripping over themselves to prove to like their black friends online, because that's the only place they have black friends. They trip over themselves to prove how not racist they are. It's actually some of the most sus shit in the. Nothing actually makes me think you're more racist than somebody that is like so desperate to prove how not racist they are. I don't give a how many white people think I'm racist. I actually don't give a fuck who black people think I'm racist. I know I'm not racist. Okay, I'm good. You're right, but I think it's different for Jewish people right now. They need us to stand in solidarity with them. True. That's the only reason why I'm attacking the black community is because I have to stand in solidarity with my Jewish brothers. Absolutely true. I wonder if these people quote tweeting me are bringing the same energy to Kanye. They probably would, actually. You know what's so funny? Is how many of these progressives attack Kanye West over the anti-Semitic shit? How many of them are doing it? Not because they actually give a fuck about the anti-Semitic shit, but because Ye talked to Trump. I bet that's actually the reason. I would stake my life on that, actually. Where's Train at? I want to make a bet. They're more mad about the Trump shit than the anti-Semitic shit. The other person watching I can see
it is not possible. Okay.
His apology. My response to racist action.
An enemy has been slain.
Hey guys, it's a clip going around where people are saying I'm being racist to an Asian guy. You know, and I just wanted to say some things, you know. I wasn't being racist to him, I promise you, you know. I seen him, I thought he was, you know, when I see, I thought he was Japanese, so I said konnichiwa. I watched a lot of anime. I said konnichiwa, and I thought he was Chinese, you know. I tried to say the nickname that they called me. I literally was just talking to a Chinese person earlier today. 433.
They are destroying
our lives.
Did they call him Bing Bong Ching Chong? Did they call you that in fucking China? Maybe they do. Sorry. I could be wrong. They might actually call him that. That might actually be his Chinese nickname. It might be Bing Bong Ching Chong, okay? So I'm sorry for making an sorry for making that a thing there. And because I'm talking on my ass right now. My bad.
And I love Chinese people, so I try to say Zhong Kong. Like Tong Tong, like it's a nickname that they call me in China. I promise you, you know. And if it came out as racist, I promise you, I did not mean it that way. You know, I got drilling pushing, making content, live streaming. I'm at the World Cup, watching Ronaldo play, drilling pushing. I seen him with an Argentina shirt. You know, I love us as racist. You know, I really did not come off as. You know, I try to speak Portuguese all the time. I try to speak Arabic, you know, but I don't never mean it in a racist way, and I don't know why you guys think I meant that in a racist way, you know, like, I'm not racist to Asians, you know, I mean, Asians are, you know like, I'm not being racist, you know, but if that did come off anyway, if I did offend any Asian person out there, trust me, man, I'm not racist, I love Asians, I love all Asians. I apologize if they came out that way. Love you guys, man. Peace out. Hope you accept my apology.
It's so funny to watch like some of the minority communities catch up to like where like the white community was for wokeness like 10 years ago. Because like he's not racist, right? I doubt he's racist, but he doesn't realize that like the jokes he's saying are kind of like not okay because they just haven't had those conversations yet, probably on that side of the internet or in those communities. Like white people have been like obsessively having these conversations for being a decade. But I can understand the perspective from like his point of view. It's like, bro, I'm not insulting. But we're way past. In the white world, racism is like an advanced, like, and that's like a 400 level class or whatever. We've got advanced levels of racism here.
An enemy has been slain.
The white people are imposing our advanced ideas on minorities. True. Actually, telling minorities to not be racist, in my opinion, is actually a form of colonialism.
Destiny. Okay, bro. I'm actually so annoyed. I already know he said some bullshit. Like, what the fuck? I already know what's something because I go on Twitter and I see this shit. Like, what the? Oh, Destiny, don't piss me off, bro. Like, I vouch for you, bro. Why is your hair blue now? What were you doing with your hair, bro?
Return to base.
Oh
Take
my.
this Return to
Why is your hair
base.
blue? What did he do? What did he do? Why is his hair blue right now? Is he trolling? Because I know he be like talking about the blue hair motherfuckers. Is he trolling? Come on, bro.
I am blue haired now. And we are $100 from the hair dye with Melina.
Cool, I don't even know who is this. Like,
Oh, I saw that speed clip. He said something. I'm like,
I don't even know who he's streaming. I don't have to lie. Is this the Kai Senate guy? Oh, this is the speed guy. Okay. There's like this whole new legion of like black Zoomer streamers, and for as much as they fucking talk about how like all white people did was scream at the fucking camera,
True.
that's all these guys do. I don't know. I don't know if they have more content, but holy shit.
Okay. First thing he speed. He goes.
Like, complaining about white streamers screaming. Are you serious? I remember reading so much of that during Gamergate. That, oh, the legion of white streamers right now are only popular because all they do is scream into the camera and blah, blah, blah. I feel like I read that comment every other day about me. Holy shit. In the Gamergate era, I feel like I read that shit so much. Now, that's a long time. That's before your era, son. That was 4 years ago, which is generations in internet time.
Oh, is that seen their face.
What's the implication here? That I intentionally mix their faces up as a joke? I don't know what any of these people are. Bro, I literally mix up people all the time when I go on shows. I don't have time to watch shows. I stream a ton, okay? I stream a ton, and I hate streaming. No, I love streaming. I hate watching streams. Like, when somebody's like, are you into streaming? Stream. Never watch. I hate watching streams. That's the most boring shit in the world to me. I don't know how any of you guys can watch streams. It is so fucking boring. Me. Why the f I watch some dude do some shit when I could just do some shit? That. Okay? I don't have time for that bullshit. But like, I mix everybody's face up all the time. If I mix up two white people, nobody says anything. But as soon as I mix up two black people, meanwhile, black people mix me up with other people all the time. But you won't now, because I got blue hair and I'm a racist guy.
Say, they're full of organs, aren't they?
Like they say, like why like you okay, bro, I hate it when it's like I watch like okay, so Destiny is someone like I found on YouTube, right? I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest. I ain't gonna be no capper. Like he's having debates and shit, like yo, this dude is like his mind is crazy, like his debates actually go crazy, like he's smart as shit. Right?
It's just really rare that streamers don't know other big streamers. I just don't watch anybody. I don't know any of that crowd. Like I still to this day, I don't know who the Aiden Ross is. I don't know what he's done or why the he's famous. I just know that a whole bunch of people and rappers, I think, go on the stream. I don't know why. I think somebody said he's related to Drake. I don't know if that's true. I don't know who any of these people are. I have no idea. Okay, I have no idea. The clips pop up on LSF. I watch the shit sometimes. Usually they're streaming, some wacky shit is happening, and then I come back. Okay, I have no idea who any of these people are. But it's not like a WH Omega lol. Okay, it's not like these guys are such losers. Like I don't know them. I just don't know them. I just I'm in my feeling right now. Damn.
We don't get to destroy
Why is there always like a point where they say some like stereotypical, like edgy, borderline like racist?
Like, nothing I said was even borderline racist. What the did I say that was racist? Seems like there's a lot of black Zoomer streamers and a lot of their content is just screaming and shouting. Is there anything racist about that? Like, did I say like, I think the only thing black streamers can do is scream and shout. I think the only thing black people are worth is screaming and shout. Like, no, what the it's just a f***ing observation. Jesus Christ. There's not even anything like, you have to like torture that statement to try to like squeeze some f***ing racism out of it. Like, please, come on. on, man. Don't do this shit. Oh God, it's so cringe.
Like, you can see, like, yo, this is a spot. You see, like, you know, pop this finish frame, like, how I look at it.
Wait, am I supposed to get props on the I have friends. I was in here like every day. I thought I was trying.
God damn, bro. I'm not putting like, I'm like, yo, you just do that Destiny, nigga. Like, WIQ, like, what's smart? Like, what the? Hey, bro, doesn't think I seen him do one time. Racist? That thing, okay, this shit, okay. So look, boom. Would you consider this racist chat? Because I know what he's talking about in this. Would you consider this racist chat? So let's say a white dude, right? He goes on Twitch and he's telling people to not say the, when he says the word. He's like, don't say nagger. Nagger is a bad word. Like, not use that against people. That's very historical term. Like very, like, the word has a lot of history. Not use that on people. Not use the damn word. It's bad. Don't use it. And don't say maggot either. Because people, it explains why in like an educational purpose. Twitch, that was allowed on Twitch. You were allowed to say those words in an educational way, right? But is that racist if you do so? Is that racist and homophobic?
Yes.
Be like, yo, maggot is a bad word, bro. Like, don't say that.
I only said it because I wanted to be racist. They told me I could say the N-word in the proper context, so I explicitly searched for the right context to say the N-word. Like,
You know what I'm saying? It's not, but that's kind of what he did. But those words are so powerful, it's so easy to like clip the shit and shit. So like, bro, this is so bad. Like, this what's up, bro? Like, there's nothing I seen all the time. That kind of turned me off. Like, I was watching dude. I seen like a video on his recommended talking about some like Destiny. There's like a black person quiz. Like Kobe Bryant, Hawks, was LeBron. It was like one of those dudes. I feel like LeBron. There's no way, like, I don't think, like, I'm not even into white people shit like that. But I don't know. Like, if it's a big ass white athlete, like I'm a no, or a big ass.
like if there's like playing like racist. Show me a picture of like. I probably. I was gonna say I could show you Michael Jordan. Because he was in Space Jam. Bro, I don't know what these people look like. I don't watch game, no offense for basketball. I can't watch it. I can't watch pretty much any sports, bro. I don't know these people. The only way I'm gonna know them is if they show up like, is it Kevin Garnett or whatever? I know what that dude looks like because he was in Uncut Gems. I'm not gonna know what these people look like. Jesus. Any more than I would expect you to know, like, who f***ing, like, I want you to pick up the difference between, like, Geralt of Rivia and some other f***ing, like, Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid 5 or some shit, right? Like, Jesus. But if I can pick up the difference between like Denzel Washington and Will Smith, right? But these are because these are actors that I see. These are black people I see all the time. I don't know what different athletes look like. Jesus Christ. It's just so weird that like I don't know what the implication is here. Does he think I'm just faking like not knowing who the black athletes are? Is it that inconceivable that I wouldn't know who basketball players, what they look like?
Quiz. Like Kobe Bryant, Hawks, was LeBron. It was like one of those two. I feel like LeBron. He's like, I'm like, bro, there's no way. There's no way, like, I'm not even into white people shit like that, but I don't know. Like, if it's a big ass white athlete, like, I'm a no. Or a big ass, like, white artist, like, I'm a no. Or a streamer, I'm a no. Like, there's no way that's like, you don't know who the fuck them motherfuckers is, bro. Or maybe you're that out of the loop, I don't know. But damn, bro, I hate that. I hate like.
Bro, if you look for racism everywhere, you'll find racism everywhere. This is a really good example. If you're looking everywhere, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even remember which basketball player fucking died in the helicopter class. Or crash until I think it was Steele made that joke about Kobe, and it was like right after he died. I was like, oh shit, and that's how I remember that Kobe Bryant was the one that died in the helicopter crash. That's the only reason I know.
Be my eye in the darkness. And
Josh. SGC. No, but wait, that's cool, bro. That's cool. Actually, had like one little incident, but actually, had one little incident, you know what I'm saying? But that was like kind of like the wave to do at the time. That was like the wave to do at the time. Why does it color his hair though? Is it like a troll? What is this? What are you about to make me watch, bro? I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared, bro. Can I watch this, bro? Crazy how.
You do give off racist vibes. Do I really give off racist vibes? Because I don't tiptoe around these issues like a f***ing cuck? Really? Seriously? How many black friends have we had on the stream? How many black shows have I gone on to? Or black content creators, or black conversations, or black issues, or black topics, or black research stream? Like, what do you mean? Do I really give off racist vibes? Because I'm not willing to tiptoe around and suck off every black creator or some shit? I don't give a f about that shit, bro. If that's like your like barometer for are you racist or not, then color me racist. I don't care. I super don't give a f, dude.
Why is Twitter fucking video quality so shit?
Rapper for American musician played James Madison. Got one of the founders of the Constitution. Play his flute.
Let's fact check real quick here. I don't trust any of these black people anymore. an African person. I didn't know. I wanted to check.
I've watched enough like freaking news like you know what I'm saying? That side of YouTube and Twitch to know what the hell he's like how they joke and shit, like the general public, like regular views.
How many videos did this guy make on his friend being an actually racist Asian person? That's what I wonder how many videos. I'm just curious. Hold on. I'm so grumpy today. I gotta turn it down because I'm about to burn so many bridges for him that I don't need to burn. Let's show. Back away. Calm it down. Calm it down. Okay.
Did I know who the fuck this motherfucker is? How was I gonna come up to them, bro? How's that gonna come up to like my chat and shit? Like, oh man, it's all bad. GG's. It's all bad. GG's, bro. Hey, no more vouchers. That's tough. Nigga, that's tough. Hey, GG's, bro. Like, it is what it is, bro. GG's, bro. Now every time Destiny's name is brought up in the WNL community, I already know what the chat's gonna look like.
I'm so happy because the last thing I f***ing want is a vouch for some loser that wants me to bow down and kiss his f***ing boots because he's black. I can't think of a single thing in the world I could care less about than being one of those f***ing cucks in Seattle that's walking around like kneeling in front of black people and saying like, I worship you. Get the fuck out of here with that victim f***ing complex. Holy shit. You guys are top 1% earners in the richest country in any place in human history on the f***ing planet right now, probably in the universe. Holy fuck, I do not care. Holy shit.
Chat gonna look like. You feel how you doing? Chat gonna, hey man. Hey, you're in the day and age where niggas like Consonant, Speed, Bruce, me. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. It is what it is, though. Like, you can't. Like,
where the black community is also like the biggest community pushing anti-Semitism in the United States as well. But nobody's talking about that.
Bro.
Nah, that's not true. Actually, people are talking about that.
Cool with. What do you got to say? Oh, Black Crazy cool with? I don't know what to say. Hey man, Black Adam. Oh, my fault. Take myself out. Take my EDP. Yeah, he just cool with EDP. Oh, A1 Preach. I thought. Hey, look, my first impression of A1 Preach was something to do with Ka, and I started watching a little. I thought A1 Preach, bro. I thought A1 Preach, bro. They cool. Low tier God. You know what I'm saying? Right. Low cheated. Wait, what low? Okay, I know. Yo, look, bro. Look, bro. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie. I can give a f. I don't care what a nigga do. I'm just being. I just don't care what a nigga do. The only thing that's like interesting is watching the internet's reaction to shit. Like, let's do. You don't give a. Like we don't care, but like the internet reaction to shit. That's what niggas really do. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't even know. I'm sorry. I don't even know. I don't care. But like, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, bro. Let's see what this is.
Is that tail thing in reference to Bosch? Oh no, my friend. Oh no, it's not. Where is it? Find me the clip. No, it wasn't even this. Although this is cringe. I've never seen this before. Where's the... What am I thinking of? Was it Black Panthers? Why am I getting... The Black Panther. Black Panthers. Wait, I didn't just mix that up, did I? Oh god, wait, dude, I'm so sick right now. Oh, this is what I was referencing.
With what? Whip their face towards the earth and lick up the dust of thy feet.
So God requires an action. Alec, are you willing to be the ambassador of all so-called races right now and apologize?
Was this real? Maybe this wasn't real. I don't know.
If that is what is required of me to apologize, then I will.
Okay, all right, go ahead, Alec.
So yeah, what's going on?
Maybe this is not real.
So what?
And they shall bow down to thee.
Does anybody have... There was a clip on Twitter recently. Did I watch this on stream or was this in Georgia? Where some black guy walks up to a white girl and he's like, will you apologize for slavery? Oh, wait, shit, it might have been this. Was this real? Maybe these are psyops. Maybe these are fake and I'm like falling for some dumb shit. I don't know.
Excuse me. Hey, excuse me. I work for Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry. I work for Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry that I scared you. But since I work for that company, my CEO has told me to come out today and to bring you on your knees because you have white privilege. So if they see that a white person is getting on their knees, that shows solidarity for the situation. The situation. And could you just please apologize for, you know, for your white privilege?
Surrounded by
Just apologize.
Yer.
It's big. It's large in this country. You know, with this country, we have that president, Donald Duck, that clown in office. You know.
Jesus. What is this?
I'm gonna be beyond, man. Dude. I don't know the extent of the whole thing. I don't really give a fuck, okay?
Oh, it's because they're friends. I don't care. I don't care.
Anybody, okay? Good luck. I'm not going to get into it, okay? I don't want to anything make to form a complete thought, and I know what it's like to be labeled as a racist, okay? Out of context things, and it's blatant.
Wait, what was this clip on me? What did he say? Out of context things?
Come back. Why you got on Argentina, bro? Konnichiwa? 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 Argentina? One twing twing. No, they score! Yeah, we score!
Also, to be clear, and I'm the only one that will ever be this charitable, because all of you guys will let her be losers. I don't think he's racist. I think he's just making dumb, racist jokes. Oh, what did XQC say? There's like this whole of like black Zoomer streamers, and for as much as they fucking talk about how like all white people did was scream at the fucking camera, I feel like that's all these guys do. I have no. I don't know if they have more content.
I don't guess I know all, like, I think there might be everybody. Everybody in one spot. Oh guys. Yeah, man. All the new guys, all the black streamer guys, are all doing the same thing and doing that, and they were all doing that before. What the fuck is that shit?
How is he able to so quickly ascertain the full extent of what I'm saying in a 17-second clip on Twitter, but when it comes to his massively famous black friend on Twitch, all of a sudden, well, hold on, guys, I need a lot of context, okay? He might have had a Chinese friend named Bing Bong Ching Chong, and, you know, we just don't know that background. Jesus.
Human propaganda.
Okay. I don't care. This is a prime material one. I don't want to talk about it. I can't think of anything more painful than talking about racism or race relations with kids. Whether they're black or white. I don't care. I'm good.
Hold on. You got one more. I got 2 feet right here, right? All right, Amy. Now you got to get all the punches out right here. All the real keys out here. Come on, Amy. Hold on. Order. Come on. Everybody that's out here.
Have been slain.
Come on, Amy. It's all good, Amy. We're doing the righteous act, right? Let me get Justice for him in 11 real quick. Brothers got 2 feet out here. I see 1 boot inside. I need both feet. Come on. Be careful. Bye, Amy. Good job, Amy. Good job, Amy. It's okay. Ain't no coronavirus out here. Good job, Amy. Come get your suitcase, brother. Come over here, man. All right, Amy. Thanks, Charles. Who my man at right here? This is 5 and 11. Resurrection Act 2. This is Amy. Good job.
Okay, I'm good. Back from Georgia, we're fighting with I should not stream on this mode. There's like way too many, I have limits, and there's way too many mounting stressors for everything going on. I'm juggling like 50 million different things at the moment, and then I've got a ton of crazy shit happening in the background. And then I just had, it was the most expensive weekend of my life that I didn't fundraise for. And I was sick the entire weekend. Thankfully, Matt and Christian were all-stars and did the entire event. Congratulations to us. And the Cameron show. You guys did amazing too. I had to drive back sick for 8 hours. Okay, but like me. And then as soon as I get home, this fat, inbred, ear-infected dipshit has the gall to say Smite driven to me. Like, it just makes me off. Like, just stay in your corner of like the horse-throating internet and go off somewhere else. Like, God, he just absolutely triggered the fuck out of me. Remember all those clips of him talking about, oh, we're gonna raise $200,000 for canvassing and for a pack and blah 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 blah. And then he's like, actually, you know what? And I just wanted the virtue signal. And I wanted all the credit for canvassing and everything, even though I never did it. So, yeah, I just set myself off. The right has infiltrated rapid hip-hop. They're January 6ing the place up. They are, like, doing all this work everywhere, and people on the left are, like, screaming about...
Ooh, that wasn't the fucking plan, man.
about safe investments and don't know what IRA is. It's not an investment, you f***ing moron. Unless the price looks like this, okay? Whoa! No, you mother. Okay? If customers had to close positions and they had to secure those positions using customer deposits, that means
Coffee Zilla, you need to let others speak and you need to respond to what I'm saying and not grandstand as much here. I think there was a big liquidity hole. That's what happened. If you want to judge that process.
How can there be a liquidity hole? And if there is a liquidity hole, why are you using customer deposit to satisfy that liquidity hole when those customer funds were never meant to be used for margin calls?
An enemy
This
has
is
been
fraud.
slain.
What he's talking about right now. This is fraud.
Sam Bankman-Fried into a third interview with me, and this time he may have admitted to fraud. But I want to explain the background, the strategy that went into this call to try to learn where others had failed, including, by the way, learning from my own failures interviewing Sam. Since this was my third time basically doing the exact same trick, it was probably going to be one of my last, because at some point this would catch on. And because of that, I had to think long and hard about what the perfect line of questioning would be to really pin Sam down, knowing that he's a master at dodging questions. To this point, I didn't think anyone had gotten that smoking gun. He always denies everything. He always has a sort of a loophole out of it. So I had to try a different thing. Here was my plan. Sam's whole excuse about not being a con man all hinges around Alameda research. Basically, he says he I realized if we're gonna do this, I'd have to remove Alameda from my case, right? I needed to show that Sam had knowingly defrauded people without invoking Alameda at any point. Here was my plan to do this. I was going to spend the entire time laser focused on the FTX terms of service. Now, some of you may know FTX lays out that they cannot use customer funds for anything. They can't trade with them, they can't loan them out. And I thought this was a really important point because obviously that money is no longer there. So clearly something must have happened. But I'm far from the first person to notice this. Many people, including my...
You're right, I think that smoke coming out of the mug is fake. Why would you fake that?
How dare they tie on ours?
Why would you do that to me?
They are part of the collective
myself have already tried to ask him about this and pin him down.
The terms of service for FTX, and I just want to read you this. It says, none of the digital assets in your account
They are destroying
are the property of or shall or may be loaned to FTX Trading. FTX Trading does not represent or treat digital assets in those accounts.
Wait, is there a way to get an RGB code from a color in... Oh. Holy shit.
Belonging to FTX Trading. How is it possible that Alameda had such a large
strange
But there were a number of other parts of the terms of service and a number of other parts of the contract. There was the borrow lending facility, where users were lending billions of dollars of assets to each other, collateralized by assets on the exchange. You had, and you had obviously futures contracts where there are leveraged positions on. Now, of course, all of this, it's meant to be the case that these are positions where FTX could, if it needed to, margin call those positions and close them down in time such that it would cover all of those, all those shorts, all those liabilities. Obviously, that wasn't the case here, and that's a massive failure of oversight, of risk management, and of diffusion of responsibility from myself running FTX.
But just make this very straight. Was there commingling of funds? That's what it appears like. It appears like there's been a genuine commingling of the funds that are FTX customers that were not supposed to be commingled with your separate firm.
I ain't knowingly
Okay, Shorkin tried and failed here to pin him down on the terms of service. Why? Well, because Sam escaped in this talk about a different part of the terms of service, which related to margin trading, where you take out some kind of a loan. And in a way, it was a complete deflection. Like, it doesn't matter that there's a separate margin trading in terms of service, because the people who weren't margin trading still should have had their funds kept safe. But it sort of threw Sorkin off track. And so now we're going to move to the Stephanopoulos interview, which was a bit better because Sam's going to try the margin trading story. Watch Stephanopoulos. He does a better job at honing in on the question.
None of the digital assets in your account are the property of or FTX trading.
My understanding is a few things happen. The first is there is a margin trading facility on FTX by which users can lend out funds, by which other users borrow funds. And so there are explicit cases where there is, margin extended, where there is borrow lending.
If Alameda is borrowing the money that belongs to FTX depositors, that's a bright red line, isn't it?
There are a lot of cases where that's actually explicitly part of the programs and that are happening.
Not here. Here it says that the digital assets they can't be lent out.
There existed a borrow lending facility. And I think that's probably covered. I don't remember exactly.
This is there's like 3 people that are even going to understand this, and I don't even know if I understand this. This is what it sounds like the problem is, and this is the trick that I think he's trying to play. Okay, so my guess is that on this platform, there is the ability to trade on margin, right? You can borrow money to trade, okay? So you have the ability to do this, all right? When you're trading on margin, weird things can happen where, say that the price of a security that you're trading gets really high or really low, your account might get margin called, meaning that your position is sold or closed, and then you end up losing money. You think it's kind of complicated, it's whatever. But like you have this side of the business that does this shit over here, right? But over here, you should have like customer funds that are deposited. And I don't know what else they offer, what other services they offer on the platform. But these funds are not part of this like weird leverage part of the platform. It's not part of like the market trading. So every time somebody tries to ask, how the fuck did your customer funds get fucked? And then he is, and then over here he's saying, well, we have a margin trading platform, and sometimes weird things can happen when you're trading on margin. But it's like that doesn't explain how these funds jumped this line. This is my understanding of why his explanations are never making sense. There's no explanation for how customer funds are being used to settle other accounts. Never, ever. It should just never happen. So like in the whole Robinhood fiasco, where everybody said that Robinhood was corrupt and blah, 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 the Robinhood shit fiasco had to do with margin accounts being closed, basically, with people getting margin calls because of how quickly trades were going. But never ever were Robinhood users' customer funds at risk. That never happened, despite the wild fluctuations and collateral differences on GME and AAC and all the other meme stocks. There were never customer funds deposits that were fucking lost in the platform. So the customer funds over here is being used to settle or close these margin accounts. We have never given a satisfactory explanation for how that happened. We always try to obfuscate or hide behind this weird, like, well, there were margin accounts, which doesn't actually explain what's going on. But I guess I don't want to say if you're not super well versed in finance, you won't understand, because I don't know if I understand 100%. But like, this should never, ever happen unless you're using customer funds to settle margin calls or to settle margin trading positions or whatever, like leverage positions. But I mean, obviously that's really fucking bad. Now, the reason why you do that is because crypto is going up, and it's like it's a sure bet, especially because of the weird deal they had where they were essentially playing arbitrage, which is typically pretty safe. But now the problem is that if shit crashes, not only are you left closing positions of customers, which is whatever, that happens, who cares, it's fine. But now you're using customer deposits to pay off those collateral calls, which is that should be like federal prison. Like you're fucked. Like you're absolutely engaged in insanely illegal activity there, because you're basically stealing money from your customer deposits that should never be to satisfy like either liquidity requirements or to close down positions that you had open. Like.
Beware, but somewhere else in the terms of service.
This is great stuff from Stephanopoulos. He refocused the question, but Sam's...
There's no motive here. Why would FTX do that? So they're not embezzling, just trading for no reason. They had no debt, no reason to do that. Well, the reason why you do that is because if it is the case that I have identified a certain type of trade that is very, 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 very safe, right? If I have a trade that's super safe, then my goal is to trade on that safe trade as much as possible. And if I can steal other people's money to do it, that's a fire way to make money. Why? I know the trade is safe. I can borrow all the money from my customer deposits. It's not at risk because I know I'm going to make it back because it's a safe trade. The more money I steal from customers, the higher my returns are going to be because that's what my margin is, right? If I can trade for $10,000, if I can borrow $10,000 and trade $20,000, you know, if it's returning $10,000, $20,000, risking $10,000, right? It's no-brainer. So this is the reason, this is the incentive or whatever to steal a bunch of customers, because they had access to these super, super, super safe trades that, and crypto was only going up, that, yeah, basically like, oh, sure, like I can, yeah, I can steal whatever I want to do this. Please consult a professional when we're giving hot takes. Dan Archer of law, if I said anything wrong, feel free to call me out, you ignorant. Knock yourself out. Why do platforms allow trading on margin? People like to trade on margin because if you're correct in your guesses, you can make a lot more money. Right?
Your middle tower is under attack.
Keen edge.
Your team has destroyed a right enemy tower.
Destiny has no clue what the fuck he's talking about. Well, if you think I'm wrong. Can you not just play retail with margins or only options? I'm pretty sure you can trade whatever the f you want on margin. If you go to an account, if you go to any trader and they let you open a margin account, I think you can buy whatever you want. You can get stock on margin. Well, let me qualify that a little more. You wouldn't be able to just trade anything on margin. I don't want to get into all of this because it's going to be complicated, but depending on the type of security that you're trading, or depending on the type of financial instrument you're trading, there's going to be different liquidity requirements on your margin account. Typically, the more volatile, meaning the more subject to change of price in a day that a certain security is, higher that volatility, oftentimes the higher the liquidity or collateral requirements are going to be on the particular margin. So there's probably some financial instruments that are too volatile to be traded on margin because the platform won't let you do it, but that's a whole other thing that no one
Squat.
I think the fraud specifically is that there were specific funds where the TOS said they wouldn't trade on your funds, but they did it anyway. Yeah, kind of, but I'm just saying, like, if you don't understand the financial minutia, it's hard to catch him in the game that he's playing. But people are saying he does. CoffeeZilla doesn't suggest so we'll watch. But the answers that this guy gives are always so slimy they make no sense, and it's not like but he's good at weaseling out because nobody knows. Nobody really knows what's happening, right? Like yeah. Like, let's say that I've got like 2 financial services that I offer. Let's say that I'll lend you a little bit of money, Like, you can deposit $10 in my account, and I'll lend you $10 to let you trade on margin. Let's say that that's like one service that I offer. So you can deposit money with me, and I'll lend you a little bit more to trade if you want. You gotta pay for experience and shit, and that's all. And then let's say on another side, I'm like a savings account. You can deposit money with me, and I'll hold it and I'll pay it back. Let's say that one day there's a huge run on the market or some crazy shit happens, and now all of the people that were trading on margin, now I'm like, okay, I have to close all of your guys' accounts. I'm returning your original funds, whatever. That's positive money into my services for savings accounts. They lost their money too. So their question is going to be, hold on, how the did my money just disappear? Did I lose money? How did I lose money? And the guy goes, well, you see, it's complicated. There's a section of our website that allows for trading margin. Like, whoa, hold on. I wasn't involved in any of that. I just want my deposits. Like, I wasn't trading. I wasn't doing any of that shit, right? That's the issue. Is that he keeps referring to this other parts of the business of like margin trading that has nothing to do with the original deposit of customers. Those should never, ever be at risk. They should just never, ever be at risk. That should never happen. It shouldn't happen. Unless you're using customer deposits that should be safe as the collateral for the margin accounts, which is only going to work if the market goes up, up, up. But then if the market goes down and you've got to shore up those positions, you start stealing from your customer deposit to do so. But that intermingling, you've done something very wrong at that point. That's the issue, right? But okay. But we'll see what happens with this. That, or at least that's my understanding of what's happened so far. My understanding, were they not even collateralized? Were they naked? But no, they weren't naked. I don't think anything was naked. I think they were covered with customer deposits. I think that's the issue. But okay, let's see.
Thanks. About to weasel out with the new trick. Go ahead and watch.
To the beginning of FTX, where some customers were, I think in line with sort of existing relationships that they've had, at least in some cases, wiring money straight to alrite research in order to trade on FTX.
So you do know, and you did know, deposits were
So I was vaguely aware that was how some wires were being sent in the first place.
Didn't that set off alarm bells in your head?
So there were a lot of people in that process, and look, I really a lot more responsibility for understanding what the details of what was going on there.
This is how he flips out his game. He tried the margin trading explanation, it didn't work, so he pivots to, okay, well, there's this weird backstory where FTX used to take wires from Alameda, and maybe that's where we lost the money, right? It's another smokescreen, but unfortunately, it kind of hamstrung the conversation. And if I was going to succeed, I'd have to beat that explanation. And in the first couple interviews I did with Sam, I tried to go with like this insider angle, where insiders I had talked to had told me something very different, but it didn't work. Go ahead and watch.
There's sort of all this talk about the terms of service. Did you break terms of service? Did you not? You're basically claiming that there was this separate side of your terms of service. But I talked to somebody from Alameda and asked how big the position of or how many people had assets in the type of accounts that terms of service would apply to versus the regular terms of service, which said you couldn't use their money. And they said it was about $1 billion that was in the margin trading or the margin side of things, where you could reuse their funds or whatever, and there was the rest of it was not there. So it seems like you're putting all your eggs behind this one excuse about, there was this separate side of the terms of service. How do you address everyone else?
So I don't have all the data in front of me. My memory is that it was substantially more than $1 billion. To verify that. On top of that, there were other effects as well. Some very similar directly to Alameda.
Yeah, I kind of got stuck.
Man, we need to not just fight that. Haha, teammate.
Wait, okay, I don't. This is my last interruption. This is just. I feel like this is the only question that needs to be asked. How did customer deposits get used to settle margin accounts? Why were customer deposits ever used for collateral? I feel like that is the simple question that cuts through all the bullshit. How did it ever happen that customer deposits were used to settle margin accounts or settle collateral? That's the only question.
go back to his Alameda wire explanation. And I tried following it up a bit, but it didn't really matter. I had kind of missed my shot on that particular angle. And as I reflected on this, I realized all of the talk about margin trade, future trade, wire transfer to Alameda, all of it is a smokescreen from the big problem. The big problem is that some percentage of FTX's customers never sent a wire to Alameda. They never signed up for margin trading. Never did spot.
Yes.
All they did was put their assets on the platform.
Yes.
And they were told that their assets would not be borrowed.
Yes.
It would not be loaned out. And that money would always be there.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, God. How has nobody hit this point yet? It's because I don't know who these... They need to get like an actual financial reporter to ask these questions. Because it sounds like none of the other people knew they're doing. Yes, that's the question. That's it. Thank you.
Why wasn't it there? There's no other way to explain that. If the money's not there, then fraud. And I had to laser in on that one point, not get distracted by these shiny objects that Sam's throwing up about this or that or what about this, what about that? No, there's only one question that matters, and it's impossible for him to answer, I thought. So that was my strategy going into it. That was the backstory and how I learned from previous interviews. So without further ado, here's my third and probably final call with Sam. I'm about to go out.
Oh, fun.
I just wanted to ask real quick about the terms of service question, which Rec brought up a little bit. I want to expound on it. Can you just tell us, yes or no, were you treating client assets just on the regular digital asset side different from the margin trading side?
There were a bunch of different sides. There were more than 2 sides there. But I do think that we were positive with the fact that there were differences between spaces for like versus staking
Yeah, just people, I'm just talking about people just, putting Bitcoin on the exchange. Obviously, there was really clear terms of service around that. If it's true that you didn't invest client assets, not even in treasuries, as you said via a now deleted tweet, why do those client assets no longer exist?
So, I'm trying to trace through some of this. Here's my best guess, and I wish I could give you a more accurate answer, but I don't have the data. But my best guess is basically it's a combination of the following. One piece is the transfer sent directly to Alameda Research from customers.
Is he talking about funds just deposited on FTX? Why would those ever go to that Alameda Research shit? Am I wrong? I don't understand. That was
one piece, and that I think is a fairly substantial piece.
Wait, can you explain what that piece was? People were sending money to Alameda instead of getting credited on FTX, and Alameda just ended up using those funds.
Yes,
and they were never held separately for the terms of service.
Well, there was a separate legal agreement that I don't know the details of it. But the legal agreement explained the legal agreement with respect to transfers that were sent
That's not the question.
And so I think that is sort of what happened there, likely.
Let's focus on.
So what he's describing is like customers are sending their money to places they didn't know about? Because that's what he's describing now is like a scam. That just sounds like a scam. My money is going to places that I'm not aware of. It sounds like a scam. My money being sent to some people that I don't know. What the fuck is my train now?
Client assets that happened after FTX got a bank. Y'all said digital assets are treated a very specific way. Why were those digital assets not treated that way?
So of the remaining piece, and there is a few other pieces as well, around features and other things. I understand that's not what you're talking about. For the ones that you are talking about, right? For the ones that were left, and I'm I'm just taking a stab at this. I don't have the data, but my best guess is the following: is that there were a lot of assets remaining. We processed something like $1 billion, I think, of withdrawals over the over the few days.
Never been to a party like this.
And there are still a few billion dollars of those remaining. Many billions of dollars of those assets. But I think, and so that's part of the answer, is that there were a large number of actual assets there.
An ally has been slain!
I think there's one follow-up question you would probably still have there, which is, well, how about people who didn't withdraw and were also in that bucket? And part of the answer is, well, there still do exist some number of billions of dollars of assets, of hard assets in the...
No, is there one-to-one assets? Because that's the whole thing. We're talking about a separation of funds. So those funds should be completely different, in a different place, in a different wallet than everybody else. But what you talked about servicing billions of dollars of withdrawals has nothing to do with those specific...
Why the fuck is this guy giving interviews to people at all? Why the fuck is he talking about this publicly? It feels like it can only hurt him.
Digital assets, because that's just first come, first serve, whoever pulled out first. We're talking about people who never agreed to have their funds loaned out, who never agreed to have their funds put on margin. They should have, according to your terms of service,
everything.
One-to-one backing. It should all still be in some bucket somewhere. And are you confident today, as the CEO of FTX, this has nothing to do with Alameda, are you confident today to say that those are absolutely real and they exist and they're present, people are backed one-to-one on client digital assets?
So I think, and again, I'm just taking a stab here, but I think what happened is that if you look at especially a lot of the withdrawals that happened, those withdrawals were not necessarily only coming from people who never used margin trading or futures or trading or anything else. Those weren't just withdrawals from people or we're sort of just keeping them as pure spot balances. And it was omnibus wallets, between the various categories. And so I think that the answer to your question is that a number of those assets were withdrawn by people who had balances on the exchange, potentially in the few days prior to the collapse. And if you wanted to think about it this way, it could be that that happened, and then when the collapse completed, that effectively meant that there was, if you want to put it this way, like fungibility created during those withdrawals between assets for people who had and had not been used.
But that means that there is no separation of funds. If there's fungibility between two different buckets of there are no buckets. It's just one bucket.
Did he say? Did he really say? This guy's answers are so convoluted. Hold on.
Completed this way, it could be that that happened, and then when the collapse sort of completed, that effectively meant that there was, if you wanted to put it this way, like fungibility created during those withdrawals between assets for people who had and had not been using.
But that means that there is no separation of funds. If there's fungibility...
I think when somebody says fungibility, I don't know specifically what fungibility, but I think fungibility means that like it could come from one account or it could come from another. Like if you've got like two checking accounts, there might be some fungibility between the two, because if you withdraw money from one, you can just, move money over from one to the other. That would be like a fungible money, right?
Ability between two different buckets of there are no buckets. It's just one bucket. Everyone's taking out of the bucket, which means substantially anyone who has your terms of service with digital assets wasn't actually subject to that terms of service. They were subject to the same terms of service of your margin trading, right? Which is your more risky product. So you subjected everyone to the higher risk product because fundamentally, when it came down to it, you're saying there's fungibility. With $1 here, $1 there, everyone can take out $1 at the same time. Don't you see that as like defrauding your customers, the people who trusted you to just say, hey, this is not going to go anywhere except for we're not investing your assets? If I can exchange one-to-one and I'm the one who put risky stuff on with risky assets with risky terms of service.
I'm sorry that your finance midway. Everything saying is Reddit tier analysis. Tell me one thing I've said that's wrong. What is wrong with this guy? Destiny. Again, 0 people in the finance world have ever called any crypto holdings safe. It's one thing to buy gold, another to speculate in a highly volatile crypto market. Nothing you're saying makes sense. 0 people in the finance world ever called any crypto holdings safe. Sure, but at the very least, your crypto should be safe. Actually, I don't even know if I agree with you. Mt. Gox is going through like a massive like settlement process. Paying out like people, not to mention all the people that are starting to go to jail and everything because of these types of scams. For exactly these types of scams. I don't think you can just have people deposit money in your thing and then steal it and say, oh, well, it's not safe, it's highly volatile. That doesn't make any sense. And the volatility is actually totally irrelevant. Like a Bitcoin is not volatile to a Bitcoin. If I give you 1 Bitcoin, I should be able to get back 1 Bitcoin, right? It might be volatile in terms of exchange with other assets or other currency, but Destiny, and 0 people in the finance whatever crypto holding safe. It's one thing to buy gold, and I don't know what you're talking about. Like, gold can be volatile as well, so it can silver. If I buy 1 bar of gold, I should still get 1 bar of gold back. It's hard to believe that you would do Twitter spaces like this if he was guilty. Yeah, like when Shredder came onto my screen like 5 years ago and basically admitted to securities fraud or whatever, and then got like federal prison exactly for the same thing he admitted on my stream. No wrongdoing. I don't think you have any. Are you just a threat of this guy, or are you this guy? Client funds were mixed up unintentionally. Those intentions almost certainly from SK himself. How do you mix these funds up, my dude? You're running an exchange. I'm sorry, but like the mistakes that you're talking about, it's not like mistakes that you would expect from like a fucking rando leader, not a guy managing what? He's a $600 billion company. Like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? Don't want to come on stream? If he wants to go on stream, he can do it.
Nerd.
They're full of organs, aren't they?
I'm sorry, but your plan has been what everything saying is right. Explain what an internal rate of return is right now. I don't know what an internal rate of return is. Does that mean I automatically lose the discussion?
How dare they die on us?
Internal rate of return is a metric used in financial analysis to estimate the profitability of potential investments. R is a discount rate based on net present value. All cash flows equal 0. Discounted cash flow analysis. R calculation. Okay.
I can take the money that someone didn't agree to. Isn't that fraud?
So, I'm specifically talking about what happened in the...
Why do you think, you know, anything about finance? If I've said anything wrong, feel free to, like, call me out. But, I mean, like, if you just want to, like, throw esoteric finance terms at me, and then ask me if I know what they are, like, there's probably a whole bunch of shit in finance that I don't know. This is Finance 101. I never took Finance 101. I'm a wiki warrior. But if I'm incorrect on something, feel free to call me out. Or feel free to hop on Discord. Gold is inherently less volatile because existing physical atoms limit its abundance. It doesn't matter. The volatility is not relevant here. This could be the most volatile substance in the world, but it doesn't matter. If you put one in, you should get one out. If you're not risking your funds, it doesn't matter how volatile it is. It's not esoteric, idiot. It's about how people evaluate investments like safe investments and don't know what IRA is. It's not an investment, you moron. These people weren't investing their funds, they were depositing them. A deposit is not an investment that is subject to loss.
That's a horrible game for me.
I'm not investing it. I'm depositing it. It's a deposit. It's a holding. It's not an investment. It sounds like the people on FTX were depositing money that was separate from the investment part of the platform. They didn't lose their money because they made a bad investment. They lost their money because FTX stole their deposits to shore up their investments.
Days immediately during and following the crash. In that,
This guy's trolling me. Hold on. I know he is.
Or say day period, and during that period, I think we may have allowed just generalized withdrawals. I think that was if you're saying that we should have held up withdrawals for everyone who had an open futures position, for clawback potential or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that would have been the right thing to do. I hear where you're coming from on.
Would you say the same about U235? If you put them in a bank for long enough, it won't be U235 anymore. That's what SBF is explaining in crypto terms. Oh, what? That's gotta be a troll. That's gotta be a troll. We're not depositing unstable radioactive isotopes into bank accounts. That has to be a troll message.
That, I felt, at the time, that we wanted to treat customers equally. It was an incredible.
But they had agreed to different things, so you can't treat them equally. I mean, it's like this is the whole problem of the story of FTX and Alameda.
Treat customers equally. What the fuck is this guy talking about?
Is all the funds were being commingled? Isn't this just another story of commingling funds? Except this is now FTX, which you can't pass the blame to Alameda anymore.
Also, don't just talk about the commingling of funds that lost customer funds. That's only half the story. These commingled funds have been used for however long FTX has been running to make them more money. So not only are these commingled funds shitty because customers lost their money, these commingled funds are shitty because they were being used to enrich the owners of the site, right? They're making money off of gambling with this money too. It's the other half of the scam.
This is your company, your funds that you are treating all the...
The reason they keep talking about volatility is because you use the word safe when talking about crypto, but the chat doesn't understand you weren't talking about whether it's safe investing, you're talking about whether the group of cash should be... Here's an example. Let's say there's a stock, okay? Let's say there's a stock, and let's say the price looks like this, okay? Whoa! Let's say that's what it looks like. Let's say this is a stock graph, okay? If I buy one share of this stock, and it's being held somewhere, okay? I should be able to sell that one share of that stock. Regardless of where the price goes, I have one of that stock. Even if it's highly volatile, I should still have one of that stock. Doesn't matter how volatile it is, I still have one of that thing. If Bitcoin looks the same way, sure, Bitcoin might be highly volatile, I should still have that Bitcoin though when I go to withdraw it. Volatility doesn't matter here. It's not relevant.
So
that may not actually what he's saying is that they use commingled accounts to allow traders on their platform to cash out. It doesn't necessarily mean the FTX was investing in deposits. It just means that they use customer deposits to exit customers. No, you motherfucker, okay? If customers had to close positions and they had to secure those positions using customer deposits, that means that they were not maintaining the correct amount of collateral in order to have enough equity in those accounts to satisfy the collateral requirements if they were closed. That means the only way that those accounts could remain open and profitable for the company is if they were securing those accounts with collateral from deposits that never should have been at risk. If you ever have to use customer funds to secure a collateral requirement or close or shore up an account or position from another person's account that you're making money off of, you are making money off of customer funds that should never be at risk by risking them. I don't care. Never mind. I don't care. I don't care. You either get it or you don't. You either get it or you don't. You either get it or you don't. I don't care. Don't care. Don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I just want to finish listening to this and I'm going to go pick up Melina from the airport and we're good. Okay? Okay.
Respond to that, and please, I completely respect your question, but you have monopolized all of these discussions, Coffeezilla.
Ooh.
You need to let others speak, and you need to respond to what I'm saying and not grandstand as much here. I completely understand where you're coming from, but to answer your question, I didn't make a decision there. I just processed withdrawals as we normally do until it became clear we couldn't anymore, at which point we shut them off. And it was the case that, like, at that point, there was a big liquidity hole. That's what happened. If you want to judge that process.
How can there be a liquidity hole? And if there is a liquidity hole, why are you using a customer deposit to satisfy that liquidity hole when those customer funds were never meant to use your margin accounts? This is fraud, what he's talking about right now. This is fraud. I have a liquidity issue and I'm gonna satisfy it with customer holdings, with customer cash deposits. I'm gonna satisfy my, that's insane. That's fraud. Full stop. That's fraud. Full stop. The only way they were able to maintain those accounts is by satisfying the collateral requirements with accounts that never should have been at risk. And if you're using those accounts to satisfy collateral requirements, by definition, they are at risk. That's fraud. That's fraud.
And think that like we should have been spending those days frantically trying to code up a new withdrawal process. I disagree with you, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, sure. I think that's fine. I mean, it's not about coding up a new withdrawal process. It's about treating your client assets the way you told them they'd be treated, right? It's a very different thing completely. But anyways, I'll stop grandstanding for Sam. Thanks, guys.
Hello! May fortune favor us on this contempt!
Oh my god. Woo! Oh my gosh. Wow.
Wait,
we got the call out. We got the shout out. All right. You can probably tell I was pretty excited about that because I finally got what I was looking for. A straight answer on the problem of funds, right? Sam explicitly says that FTX was not separating funds. They were allowing generalized withdrawals. The dollars were fungible from different buckets. You can't do that. We finally dodged all the BS about margin trading, about Alameda wires. We finally got to the heart of it, which is that there are no funds left over for the people who just should have had their funds separated because they never separated them from the beginning. They were always seemingly commingled. And although Sam wouldn't necessarily agree that they were always commingled, the proof is in the pudding. To give you kind of a regular finance analogy about why this is so cataclysmically bad, and in my opinion, fraud. Imagine you banked at JP Morgan Chase, right? And you have your money in the savings account part. Well, then you find out that they actually had this risky hedge fund. And you know what? They actually kind of blew up. In fact, they blew up so badly that JP Morgan Chase, it's all shutting down. But when you go to the bank to withdraw your money, you find out that instead of keeping your money safely in your savings account, they had allowed the people in the hedge fund business to just withdraw. You know, first come, first serve, right? They treated all clients the same, according to them. Well, you say, well, no, that's fraud because you signed up to very different terms of service than the guy who knew he was going to be like, you know, in this hedge fund, right? He had a different level of risk. He acknowledged that level of risk. And if you just throw all the money in one pot, the terms of service are
you only have one pipe coming out of the chemical plant. You need 4. Wait, what pipe? Go. What? The water. Right there, the slow pipe that penetrates the field. From the chemical plants.
Be careful left.
What are chemical plants? I have heat exchangers. I've got condenser turbines.
Go.
Are you talking about these pipes here? These metal pipes?
Sumimasen.
You mean the nuclear reactor? The thing you're offloading the ice into. Oh, this shouldn't matter. This is I only use this over here to make sure that these water tanks stay full enough to be functioning. I'm trying to bump this from 5K to 15K because I think I don't have enough water pressure here. I don't understand how I'm not getting enough steam in here. Sorry.
meaningless, right? You're exposed to the same level of risk as the guy who took on huge risk. And that's fundamentally what happened at FTX. That's fraud. They told people their money was safe, and ultimately, they just subjected everyone to the same risk as like the day trading degenerate gambler on 100x leverage. And I really found the last thing Sam told me like so telling.
To answer your question, I didn't make a decision there. I just process withdrawals as you normally do. That's what happened. If you want to judge that process, I think that like we should have been spending those days frantically trying to code up a new withdrawal process. I disagree with you, but I understand where you're coming from.
This is so interesting because, no, of course I don't think you should be coding up a new withdrawal process while you're going bankrupt. But if throwing all your client funds in a pool and letting the first come, first serve get the money, that's the wrong process to begin with. Your process was fraudulent from the start. It should have never been your process. Your process should have been what you promised clients, which is, of course, what I told Sam. And although I think Sam's probably guilty of a lot more than we covered here, I really wanted to get to this minimum viable fraud case, and I think we did get it. I mean, there is no sort of wiggling around the fact that he was the CEO of FTX, and all of this stuff that was bad that we proved happened at FTX. You don't have to invoke Alameda to get to this, so you can't say he didn't know, because he definitely did know, and he says he knew. So the last thing I'm going to close on, and I thought it was the funniest part, was his little outburst at the end about monopolizing his time.
So, I just want to respond to that. Please, I completely respect you.
Dusty just wants to send it because he fears. What? Yep, roll by the question. If you paid $10. Oh, you're asking a stupid trick.
You need to let others speak, and you need to respond to what I'm saying and not grandstand as much here.
And I thought it was notable for two reasons. One, he hasn't lost his cool once in any interview. This is the first time I heard him like really crack. And I thought that was interesting, but I also thought it was interesting because it's just not true. It's totally wrong. I've talked to Sam for I think 30 minutes across 3 interviews total. For context, he gave the New York Times an hour. He gave George Stephanopoulos 2 hours. I think out of everyone he's talked to, or at least of the major interviews, I've talked to him the least. So if anything, I'm efficient with my time. That's all I'm gonna say. And speaking of being efficient with my time, this video is over. Lock this man up, and I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.
Deyama, ha ha. Let me dumb it down for you. FTX invests profits, not deposits. Nothing wrong with that. Customer funds are mixed with profit. Crypto speculation made, but there was no safe crypto investment. You just don't understand what you're talking about, but that's okay. I don't care. I don't care to talk to you.
Oops. Thanks.
You can... Oh, fuck me. You can invest customer deposits without investing customer deposits. You can risk customer deposits without investing customer deposits, okay? Let me help you, okay?
We're gone.
Let's say that I have $100,000. Okay, also hold on. You keep saying you're informed by Reddit and GorillaZilla. The Reddit position on finance is that GME was a global scam and like Reddit finance is super stunk. So I don't know why the fuck you're like roping me in with those fucking morons. They're more likely to agree with you than anything else, okay? So let's say you have $100,000.
Be right back.
In customer deposits, okay? Let's say that on the other hand,
Your right tower
let's say that you
attack.
have
Your middle tower is under attack.
let's say that you have $100,000 in customer deposits with like
There's no way
this is gonna break my brain.
Damn, you stop me. Enemy missing.
Let's say you have $100,000 on your end of the site that you're using. Wait, can't do that. For some type of investment activity, okay? And this investment activity involves trading on margin, okay? Let's say that we use a $200,000 margin, okay? Meaning we get $200,000 of money to gamble with. So we're able to take our $100,000 and we invest $300,000, right? But let's say that in order to actually gamble with this much, in order to satisfy these collateral requirements, we have to use money from elsewhere to secure it in case we have to like close this position. If we use our funds over here to do that, then what we're doing is we're trading over here on leverage, or on margin, right? We're using leverage, we're trading on margin. We're not technically trading with that customer money, but the only reason we're empowered to make these trades over here on margin is if these accounts get fucked, if they go too far up or too far down, we have to satisfy a collateral call or a margin call, then we use the money over here to do it. That's the problem, right? You can't, even though you're not technically investing this money, you're using this money to secure these investments. And that sounds exactly like what happened. What were the deposits for originally? I don't know, it sounds like customers could hold money on the exchange. Give us a quick 900. Okay, I'll do it. I will.
Thanks for the assist. Not. They are part of the collective now.
So Sam creates, you know, $8 billion worth of SRM and FTT. Then he issues himself locked token, secret locked token, marks it up on his balance sheet by another $4 to $8 billion and calls it $16 billion worth of collateral. Okay. Then he goes shopping for a bank to give him a loan against it. Well, if I took $1 billion of Apple stock and I went to a legit bank, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, I said I got $1 billion of Apple stock, they would say, well, we will give you collateral value for up to the amount you have or 5% of the daily trading liquidity on a legitimate regulated exchange. So if you show me a security that trades $1 billion a day, $1 billion of it, I might give you $50 million of collateral value. And that means you could borrow $25 million against it at 50% loan to value, but I'm going to margin call you if it moves a tick. So it means, practically speaking, $1 billion of that legit security is probably going to give you $10 million worth of
on $1 billion.
On $1 billion.
That's 1%.
Okay, right? Because the
Yeah, fucking course. Why are you fucking talking?
Because if I have to dump that thing in the market, I want to sell the entire position without moving the price.
Sure.
Okay, so that's the traditional world offshore. What Sam did was generated 14 to 16 billion dollars worth of Solana, you know, FTT serum, and then he went shopping for a bank to give him a loan. But he didn't want, you wouldn't get a loan from Goldman Sachs on it. No one's going to borrow you money, at least no non-crypto company.
Please.
So what he did was he went to himself. He runs a bank called FTX. He applied for a loan from himself. He granted himself the loan.
For a loan from himself.
Well,
right?
secretly applied. He didn't tell anybody, but he when they say, well, Alameda had a margin account and the margin position was totally bigger than I thought. What he means is, oh yeah, they pledged a few $1 billion of air token, gave themselves a $10 billion loan, and they extracted $15 billion worth of air token. Giving yourself a $10 billion loan means that you gave yourself about 100x the collateral value you would have got on a regulated exchange onshore. So what he did was, in essence, extract $10 billion of real stuff, dollars, Bitcoin, saleable assets, and he pledged $10 billion worth of air token stuff. And of course, it's a double diabolical thing. Here's the problem. So I create a token. I have 300 million tokens, and then I basically trade it with myself. Like, I give it to you, and you work for me, and you give it back to me. Then I lean on it, so I lever it up 10 to 1. You know, on FTX, you could lever it 20 to 1. Then I borrow your money, your depositor, so I take your money, you have $10 million, I lever it up 20 to 1, I have $200 million, I buy my own token, I drive my token up by $5. $5 times 300 million makes me 1.5 billion in collateral. I post the collateral, and then I withdraw $1 billion of, you know, 100,000 people's money. I put it in Alameda, and then Alameda gives a $3.5 billion loan to Sam, right? He gave $3.3 billion to either himself or his personal family holding company. So here's the diabolical twist. I didn't just generate $10 billion of an unregistered security to dump it on the unsuspecting retail. That would take me 500 trading days, dumping 20 million a day, right? He didn't do that. What he did is he generated $10 billion in unregistered security and then just borrowed $10 billion secretly from his depositors and then went and gambled it, traded it, spent it, lost it. And,
How?
And that is like, it's particularly impressive.
How do you, so here's the question. You know how he goes and he raises the $2 billion, okay? And he gets the $2 billion from not small people. He gets it from the best of the best of the best, right? You got BlackRock, you got Insight. You know the names.
Yeah.
I don't need to give you the names. You know the names.
How
So
dare they tie on arms?
they don't get any
Say,
seats,
they're full
board
of
seats
organs,
in
aren't
return.
they?
These are very, very smart people who are seeing this. Are they just as responsible for the fall of FTX as Sam Bankman-Fried is?
The Bitcoin maximalist would say that the problem in crypto is greed, arrogance, and foolishness. Okay? Anybody that's investing in it is either greedy, arrogant, or foolish. There's three constituencies that got taken for billions of dollars here. The VC investors put $2 billion into an offering. The exchange is pretty clear that they're illegal from the very beginning. It's illegal to do what they did. I'm front running my customers, issuing a token, manipulating the price of the token, dumping it on. It's absolutely real. Like FTX was its own regulator, its own market maker, its own exchange.
Not attack.
Right? All at the same time. This is such a and the hedge fund. Too much conflict of interest.
Please.
So, but the three constituencies are the VC that put the $2 billion into FTX. They were supporting basically an offshore, unregulated casino, running in opaque fashion, counter the interest of its own customers. They didn't ask for a board seat. They didn't do due diligence. They were chasing what they thought was insane gains, right? FTX is showing a company that goes from 50 million in revenue to 500 million in revenue to $1 billion in revenue, and they thought they just had the next great thing. So, Sam lies that any con, right, is like, I think I'm getting a deal that's too good to be true, and the con man is lying to me. We're all lying to each other, and so that's the first $2 billion goes down the drain.
How mad do you think Athene is that he couldn't get in on one of these really good crypto scams?
There's another $4 billion or something like that in just loans made by crypto industry. I think Alameda borrowed hundreds of millions and billions of dollars from Genesis, from Three Arrows, from Voyager, from Celsius, from BlockFi, etc. So it's like if you start with this fiction that FTT is a real thing. If I create, again, like yo-yo token, and I manipulate the price up to $10 billion by trading 2% of the float, if you think it's a real thing and I act like it's a real thing, then I pledge it as collateral and you give me real stuff for an air thing. And so there's like $4 billion of that, and they went and they lost half of that. That was part of the reason that Voyager and BlockFi going bankrupt, and the reason that Sam wanted to bail them out is he didn't want to actually have the loans called. Right? He was actually trying to buy BlockFi and buy Voyager with FTX equity, which of course is fraudulent and worth nothing. But if I borrowed $1 billion from a company and they want the money back, and I can simply give them $1 billion of equity, take over the company, and not pay the loan back, I can roll the entire fraud forward. So that's the second. The third is, this is also diabolical. FTX said, we're built by traders for traders, and Sam bragged that they only charge like 3 basis points trading fee, and he was 30 times cheaper than Coinbase or much cheaper than Binance. So he's stealing customers off of the other crypto exchanges by, in essence, offering near free trading. He's not trying to make money off the trading. He's trying to actually get the assets on his platform, because once he had the assets on it.
Oh, shit. That's super true. Because once he has the assets on his platform, he can use that as secured collateral to fund his other investments or his other business ventures, right?
His platform, he basically used FTX like his own personal piggy bank.
Yeah.
It's like there's $10 billion there. Everybody else is going to get wiped out if...
So, of course, he's offering favorable terms is because it's a fucking scam. And that is true. Yeah, you're stealing from other exchanges to do it. Yikes.
If their margin positions trade down 20% for a minute, except Alameda. Alameda has God mode. They never get margin called. So in an exchange, you know, like in the U.S., it's illegal to go more than 50% loan to value. That means you're kind of like, you start with $1 million, you borrow 500,000, you're 1.5x levered. Okay, well, FTX started with 100x leverage, and then they backed it down to the responsible 20x leverage, which means that you post $1 million and you can take a $20 million position.
Okay. Who allows that?
Now here's the insane. What if I put $1 billion of air token, FTT, on the exchange? I recognize you and I let you take a $10 billion bet. Like, whatever, you took a $10 billion bet, now you withdraw $4 billion of real cash and you use that to buy property and buy everything under the sun. So Sam basically, he scraped billions from unsuspecting investors in Silicon Valley. They should have known better. He took billions from crypto hedge funds and crypto banks like BlockFi and Voyager. They should have known better. And then he took probably 10 billion or more from depositors on his exchange. They have the best argument. It's like they were staring at terms and conditions that said he's not going to rehypothecate or use their assets. And he just, you know, he lured them with the promise of cheap trading, high leverage. And, you know, if you thought, well, Sam is manipulating the price of FTT and Serum and Solana, and he was, right? That's illegal and unethical, right? It's a pump and dump scheme. We talked about this before. But if you accept the idea,
unless you can prove that the investments made using deposits to back were safe, then you have no argument. You're not supposed to be investing those funds, my dude. I know that you're the other guy on the other account. I can't tell if you're a massive troll or not, or if you're just really stupid. You just can't do that. You're not supposed to use those funds to invest, my dude.
The crypto tokens that are issued by some offshore, you know, dude are okay. Then you're thinking, well, I guess I want to go buy some of that and get behind Sam and Alameda because they're going to drive the price up. And I think Solana went from, you know, $3 to, what did it go to, 50? You know, it went way up, and FTT went to $50 a token or something. So you could have made a lot of money trading those tokens, but you probably would have wanted to go to the FTX exchange because, you know, guess what? Newsflash, it's illegal in the U.S.
Or to your Future Looks Bright hat, click over here, and to watch the entire...
Wow-based.
Oh, no, you're right. He's posted a lot. Since posting that picture of his rice and broccoli lunch, he's posted like 30 fucking times. What is he saying? Thanks for some glitches. Just random nonsense like he always tweets. Cool. Thanks for Prime, Leonardo. Interred.
You think my muscles are pretty? Pretty weak.
Have you ever successfully autofellatioed? No. Can't say I have. Everyone's tried, but being successful with it's very difficult. God damn it.
These days. Anything. We just hustling, making money. That's how you do it. You learn at a young age that the hustle's real. You got the hustler and you got the guard. Security always has to be right there.
Damn it, Sombra.
She's not afraid to get that money, that's what it's about.
I got
Even
their
the kids are
Lucio.
hustling.
I should have just gone for their Anna to make it easier. Just gotta get warmed up. One of those things. What? Jesus Christ. I'm missing so many shots right now. Thanks to tier 1 Snow, and the Prime Sklorp, and the resub Cup,
Hello,
and Dental. Yep, I finished scoring last night. It's a short game, it was only 4 hours. I really don't want to get staggered. And I still did. I should have just waited longer. I didn't realize we lost our whole team on that. Yeah, I should have eat out of there, to be fair. Thanks to Prime Tina and the resub Radon. Ah, the big solo Brigitte ult.